Recording on the cloud. Excellent. All right. I don't know where to start. I feel like I know that's not like how you would start the tie. It's kind of the last thing you would get if you were to do like a ribbon. This came off of my chocolate bunny that I got for Easter. And I'm still going. Actually, I still have half of the white chocolate bunny left. Let's just start with like the middle section. So we actually, it's like we start with bilaterally symmetrical objects with, and if something is bilaterally symmetrical, which this is to a degree, I mean, it's not a animal or a portrait face, but it still, has two sides that are relatively equal. Now, the left side is going to be different than the right side, which is good. And I might actually change. This ribbon on the left is not particularly flattering, although the one on the right is kind of amazing. It's kind of like a perfect view. Okay, so let's just try to bang this out. All right, I'm going to start with a kind of like an angled box for this tie. The angle, the top is angled to the right, the bottom's angled to the right, and that's going to like be the part that wraps everything. Now, we've got the top of the ribbon, and in the way that you do a tree, we're going to do the top and the bottom, top and the bottom. So top, bottom, and then this kind of curls up into the bow. And I'm going to try to basically kind of follow a similar line. Now, it seems like it gets like narrower at the corner. So we're going to run up, and then that whole train track. And that's what I kind of liked about this ribbon is that if you think about it like a train track, you've got the wooden cross beams that run like this. And then eventually that train track like curls over itself. So this is actually the side now. And then we're going to get the bottom side of that. So this what was the top becomes the top, but the underside. What was the bottom becomes the bottom, but is the underside, and it's going to go all the way underneath itself. So this bottom track disappears behind the top track. Oh, that's cool. If I was smart, I would have made the top line darker,
Mr. Twist,
and made the bottom line lighter. Yes, Xavier.
can you hear me?
You can hear me now. What's up?
I can.
Yeah, because I've been trying to say something, and you haven't been able to hear me.
Okay, it's unmuted now. What were you trying to say?
I have to leave early at 4:45.
4:45. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. I'll try to time it so we can the second part of the lesson. We've got there's a lot of work to do today. So the train tracks run this way, and then it turns over itself, and then the train tracks run up this way. I just noticed that the train tracks are running vertical on the on the bow part that's in the middle, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if you guys are speeding ahead. You might, but there's a side of me that wants to like adjust this left side bow. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. It just the one side I violated the bow on the right, but I got a really nice bow, a curl on the left. So these things can like constantly be adjusted, depending on your what looks best. Let me try this one. All right, so this got a beautiful S curve. I don't know. Yeah, we'll do right side bow, left side bow, and then we'll do the ribbon that's beneath all of it. All right, so it's going to dip down. On the bottom, dips down. The top angles up, and then dips down, and then up into a long circle. And then this one comes all the way across, which is kind of interesting. It comes up and across, starts to angle down, and the side where it turns over itself, that is at a relatively steep angle. So this side's at a steep angle too. Right side, left side. The bottom of the top becomes the bottom of the bottom, and that goes up back into the center, and then we get this little teeny window. So we have a large window on the first side. Then we have a small window on the left side. lights went out in here. It's on a motion sensor and it's behind a pallet. You guys tell the difference? Huh. Okay. Well,
Not much. It actually is kind of easier to see some things.
when the lights are off.
Yeah, it's easier to see your white paper. It's easier to see what you're doing.
Well, if it turns off again, then I'll just leave it off. So, like, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I've got a little bit of a problem. As I'm looking at my ribbon and I'm about to lay those tracks in there, and I can see that there's a little bit of a hem in each side of the ribbon. So I'm going to lay in these marks. This side gets really thick right here. And I'm wondering if it's like too thick for my drawing. I can't really tell. This is a warm up, so I'm not like that concerned about it. But who knows? All right, and then the tracks on the bottom, I'm going to attempt to make them lighter. There does need to be a hem at the bottom too. A hem is like the stitching on the edge of fabric to keep it from fraying. And that's what this definitely has. It's like kind of a nice ribbon. All right, whatever. I kind of wish I had more real estate to sketch with. All right, so there's the left side, the little end of the string peels out, and then it's going to angle down. And this is where you really get the thickness, like the true thickness of the ribbon. And it comes down and then it's sliced off. This is not hem that down here. This is like cut at an angle from, whoever the manufacturer was. We'll do a little hem. The hem, I think, seems to be more of an important detail than I had originally. We don't have color, and I'm trying to attempt to sketch, make my marks read like a nylon or like a textured ribbon. So it's kind of like, that's what I'm going for. I'm looking for properties and traits that will, make my marks, my pencil marks, read like the object that I'm seeing. All right, here we go. We'll get this next one. This comes out kind of an interesting angle. I had moved that. So maybe a little S curve in here might make it a little savvy. I like that. I like that little S curve in there. It's mine is curvier than my reference, but I'm trying to make it better. Add the hem on both sides. And then we'll do the train tracks. Now notice that the train tracks are not at the same angle that the end is cut. It's perpendicular. The train tracks are perpendicular to the side, not parallel to the angle cut. And if you go outside the lines, you can erase them. Now, part of what makes this look a little dimensional, I think, will be where some of the shadows are. So I'm just gonna like pick out where some of the shadows, there's a little bit of a pinch, looks like a little bit of a pleat towards the top. There's a really beautiful shadow underneath. Xavier, did you get any shading on here? Sometimes when the objects are a little bit darker, like this green object is darker than, just the paper, that like, it's almost like it's easy to see the whole thing as being dark, but there are lights and dark moments to even dark objects. And I learned that when I did a portrait of a person that had black hair. And, just because the object is black or really dark doesn't mean that there's not a light side and a dark side to that object. All right, here we go. Here's some shading tones underneath that part of the ribbon. And if you have a blending stump or even your finger, blending shadows, shadows are kind of a strange phenomenon. You can't pick them up, you can't touch them. They're kind of the absence of light, and they don't normally have like really crisp edges. So the blended mark tends to feel a lot like a shadow. And everyone uses it instinctively too, which is kind of fun. I mean, no matter how old you are, you always seem to like blend with your finger to create shadows. Anybody that just came in, we're working on this warm up, and we will be, finishing up pretty soon.
That they're still connecting to audio, so they may not hear you. Just keep that in mind.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you. I guess I could turn the bow.
And that could be Charlie, because it looks like he dropped.
Yeah, no, I think it is Charlie.
Yeah, there you go.
Charlie, you back? Can I get a thumbs up? Cool. How far along did you get? Were you gone for a while?
No, my internet just glitched out for a second.
Okay, sweet. This being said, we have kind of the nature of the ribbon, and then it's got, a hem, which has got a stitched edge. It's got the train track pattern, in the ribbon itself. We have the shadow that exists on parts of the ribbon, because the light is coming from the left here, above and to the left. You could add a little bit of shadow on the ground even, where the ribbon has blocked the light slightly from getting onto the table. You can see it right here. You can see a little bit underneath the middle, and then down here. I desperately need a tortillon. So the tortillon is like the blending stump that allows you to not have to use your finger. Your finger is not, doesn't come to as fine of a point as this little piece of paper does. Ooh, that's nice. And then whatever marks were there, they're gone completely into just this quiet mist. A foggy London morning mist. Half of me wants to shade a lot of places. I just shaded gently on this side. Kind of unifies it a little bit. That's cool. Wow. All right, well, that was cool.
Oh, do we get a warning of any kind?
Yeah, and if anybody wants to show their ribbon, Xavier, can I see yours? Or anybody that's there? I mean, it's a fun challenge. I wasn't expecting it to be as hard as it was. I was like, but there's kind of a lot to it. It's beautiful, Xavier.
And freeze that, Xavier.
Yeah, well done.
Nice. And how nice that you're working outside today.
It's a beautiful day. I should be outside.
Yes, it really is.
All right. So 1 minute warning, and then we'll kind of collectively decide. I think this has got a really good zoom. I hope it's got a good zoom. That should be big enough. All right, let me grab these little guys. All right, I have this sculpture of an octopus. Do you think this is too small to draw? No, I don't think so. No, I think that's good. All right, cool. We're gonna sketch some animals today. And I taught this to my high school kids last night, and they did really well. There's just a couple ideas that are important to understand. Are we ready, Stace? Are you ready to go?
Absolutely.
Can I see yours? Can I see your ribbon?
Ready to roll. Sure.
Whoa. Yes, that's very nice. Thanks, Stace. That looks good on that page too.
Thank you.
Let's see, Jack, you got a ribbon?
Yeah, almost done.
Mr. Check there.
Almost done.
All right, take your time. just don't want to like steal the view.
Here it is. Hold on. There's more shading, and then I'll be good. Here you go.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love what you did on the right side.
That is nice.
Freeze
Thank you.
that.
That is nice. All right, Charlie, how you
you.
go? That's Jack. Thank you. Hopefully, Charlie, you weren't so much off the so much kicked off that you didn't see it. And then who is that? Who's got the that fighting org with the axe? Who is that? I don't think it's Lauren.
It's John.
Oh, hey, John.
I didn't draw that, just saying.
Ha! That's okay. Did you sketch anything else?
Nah, I didn't sketch it. I usually do little sketches of it now and again, but other than that, nah.
Okay.
I have a few somewhere in here, but
But did you do the ribbon or no?
let's see. Can't find it.
No worries. All right. So this next one I think is going to go well. We're just gonna have to try. I have these little sculptures. This place where I bought these beautiful stones have this lady had, like, for some reason she had, I think there were zodiac signs or like Chinese zodiac like symbols, but this is a bear. So, oh yeah, I guess bear is.
Yeah.
Zodiac bear is, what is that one?
I don't know, but it's part of the whole zodiac system.
What is the bear?
I don't know what it
it's a
represents, though.
constellation.
It's a constellation, I think.
Yeah, but what's it called? It's not bear. It's like, I can't remember. Can you see the bear better from this angle? I think you can. Anyway, I thought they were cool, and they're like these little sculptures. So let me just figure out. I got the one that was like lighter, and they're so small. I mean, they really are teeny. Because I thought he looked like a polar bear, and now
Oh, it's really angular. Cool.
yeah, it's so angular because they're so small and they're made out of soapstone. They have like little glaze on them, but you can kind of get into you can actually kind of see how the artist started with like a cube. Like, do you see how all four of those feet, like, they just took some kind of tool and they just went down the middle this way and then went down the middle that way, side to side, made it a little bit of a bigger hole, and then they like carved off these little toes. How cute is that? These three little toes on the bear. And
Very
then some of them
sweet.
are kind of like furry. Some of the lines you can kind of see, like some of the scrapes that they're supposed to indicate fur. Anyway, I do like the bear. The bear is cool. The octopus is amazing. I really want to draw the octopus. And then there's a horse. There's a ram. There's a monkey. The monkey's kind of funny. Ooh, the monkey looks good from the side.
Yeah.
This is the ram. That guy's cool. It's a ram or a mountain goat? I don't think it really matters. All right, let's try a couple of these guys. Which one do you want to do first? We try the monkey. Anybody have any? Does anybody have an opinion?
So many of those.
All right, well, monkey it is. Wasn't it? Everyone always talks about the year of the monkey. I don't even know what that is. Okay. Now, is that zoomed in enough? I guess you can see that. Can you see that, guys, well enough? Oh, this is gonna be wild too, because I have to sketch off the screen just like you guys do, because my angle because we're drawing like actual objects. I have a girl who's in 7th grade who's trying to get into, a carver for high school. And so she has to draw like objects from life, like crazy, like all day, not all day, but like she has to fill this whole sketchbook with just observational sketches. Can't use photographs, can't use art. Anyway, so I'm trying to find interesting objects for her to sketch, which is what led me to, buying these things. All right, let's see what we can do. I don't know where to start. I'll probably make mine a little bit bigger. I'm gonna go for some easy answers, and I can see that this monkey's got like a flat top of the head, and then it goes into the round part in the back of his skull. So that was kind of easy for me. That's just what stood out for me. Now this monkey's got like a brow ridge, and then it goes concave, kind of where the eyes are. Now I know the eyes are in here because honestly, the worst part about all these sculptures is that the eyes are just so like boldly circular and obvious that like I think that it's a whole different. I mean, if they didn't put the eyes in, I think the sculptures would be so much better. I think the sculptures are actually pretty fine works. And they all look really cool when you can't see the eyes. As soon as you see the eyes, you're like, was this made by a 3rd grader with like googly eyes? No offense to 3rd graders out there. But I mean, they just didn't, the eyes make it seem like not serious. So even though I think these are actually serious works of art and they've been refined over hundreds and hundreds of sculptures, meaning that the artist that created this sculpture has sculpted it probably 100 times. And when you do the same thing over and over again, in terms of like for repetition, you get really good and you get really refined. And sometimes you could say that you might get a little sloppy, but like that's only a temporary thing. Like when you do things on repeat, they might get sloppy because you lose interest, but then your skill development continues. And it's like a whole, repetition in art is a really important thing, and I respect it when I see it in other artists. And these sculptures are really good. And I feel a little bit bad that the guy who sculpted this horse, was like forced to put that eye on it. It just doesn't make any sense. Anyway, all right, let's get back to this monkey here. So we've got this little concavity at the site of the eyes, and then it's gonna like swoop out into what we know. Some of these you have to like rely, because they're so small and because they're a little bit abstracted, you have to rely on like what you know. So we know that there's going to be a nose here, and then monkeys have a large distance between the nose and the mouth, so it's like that upper lip portion, and then it's going to come in to the mouth, maybe make him smile. I don't know, you can make it like, now he looks like Curious George. It's amazing. And then we'll have this little chin that's going to come down, and it's going to transition into the neck. Wow. Okay, cool. We did the top of the head back into the skull, and then I think we should do the back of the neck as well. So if we got to the front of the neck, we might as well get to the back of the neck. All right. So the next kind of obvious thing would be from neck into the torso, like into the chest, and then it pops out, and we get this really nice rectangle where his hands are. And because of the anatomy, the hands are sometimes a little bit hard to sculpt because the hands are detailed. So the way that they're sculpted on these small maquettes are just like more abbreviated. So we're just going to use a rectangle for an abbreviated, elbow to wrist, wrist to hand. And maybe we'll draw a front view of this. But one of the comforting things for me is that I think this is close to an elbow, because then this elbow is going to come up to the shoulder. And just what we know about basic animal anatomy, that's going to be the shoulder up here with some stripes down to the elbow, and elbow into the hands. We don't see any fingers. The hands look like they're kind of flat. All right. Just like if we were sitting down, with our legs up, like Indian style, when you're sitting Indian style, you put your elbows on your knees, a lot of times because it's like comfortable. So if this is the elbow, the knee is really close to it. So in order to get from knee to the hips or from knee to the ankle, I'm going to start my next phase by acknowledging the distance between the little elbow and the little knee. And he actually gives us marks at the top of the knee that help us turn the corner from this hip into the knee. And then we'll come out. And then I think what's happening here is at the feet, monkeys have like hands for feet, which are one of the curious and wonderful things about monkeys. So I'm just going to use a rectangle for those, for his feet. So identifiable anatomy here is his hips, which are down here, which hip to knee, knee to ankle, and then ankle to foot. And then I'm kind of like asking myself, what are we missing? Well, we go from the head into the neck, and we have to go from the neck down the spine to the base of the back, and then the base of that back is going to transition into the pelvis, which is going to give us the flat ground. Now, this monkey is designed to rest on the ground. So if I just like move this down here, I can actually turn it up a little bit. I don't want to mess with it too much, but you see how flat? Don't move. Okay, yeah. This is so flat down here. And there's a little split in between the toes. Cool. I guess you can kind of see, especially how flat it is from this angle. That's good. That's good. Some other basic marks. It looks like there's some marks that help describe the back of the head, which are curvy. Some marks that describe his rib cage, which are curvy. And then there's a couple marks that run down here, which is the edge of the thigh. Also interesting. I can change the light a little bit. There's some fur that's on the side. I wish you guys could see it. It's on the side of his face. And I can't tell whether the artist is using this ridge to create an ear, which would make sense. And you would also have a series of straight lines with like fur for the face as well. And the last really awesome thing is that tail. Now let me turn it. I was a little disappointed when I saw the tail, because I was envisioning like a curve. Like it would look so much better if it was curved up the back, because monkeys' tails are kind of all over the place. They hang from them. They're super strong. They're just very characteristic, very characteristic of what a monkey actually is and how they function in the world. They need their tails. So however you want to do it, I mean, I could, just because I'm copying the sculpture doesn't mean that I can't make my tail curvy. So I'm gonna make my tail curve a little bit.
Maybe you should put quotation marks if you're copying the sculpture.
Put
Copyright.
quote unquote monkey. MONKEY. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm very excited about my monkey tail. I think this is a really good solution for, especially for where I was like a little disappointed. I'm not that disappointed. I mean, these sculptures are cool, and they're not, they're not like super high end sculptures. I think I paid like $2 or $3 for this thing. So the fact that it's like, that it was that inexpensive and somebody carved it, it's like an originally carved, may not be original. I mean, someone probably learned how to do it, but it was hand carved. It wasn't like a machine that did this thing. So you've got this sculpture that is sort of it's a representation of a monkey, and you can hold up again, Xavier. You can use the sculpture as your basis. That's nice, man. I love it.
Nice, Xavier.
He's also got like a little bit of a round belly. What I'm saying is that you can make your drawing really look more like a monkey than the sculpture does. You could give give like a real nose. I gave him an ear. We could give him like more of a rounded head on the top rather than like that flat head. You could maybe even add some fingers, cartoon fingers even. What I'm saying is that you could give him a banana. We are not doing like a master copy of you know, this sculpture. We're actually having, we're trying to have some fun. So I can, there it is.
This is mine.
Yes, Jack. That's awesome, man.
Hold that up, Jack.
I always think that there's like,
And
when I see
read.
monkeys at the zoo, I always think it looks like they're wearing clothes because like their arm
Nice.
like goes right up against the like right up against their wrist, and then their hands are out there. But then their forearms don't have as much hair. It's interesting. So yeah, we've got, it's 4:33. So maybe let's take, I don't know, 2 more minutes, 1 more minute. Decorate this thing, you know, and make it, you know, make it a little bit more fun. And I won't, honestly, I think it would be like very helpful to sketch the monkey from the front, but I don't think I'm going to make everybody do that. I just want you to see it, because I think as far as the sculpture goes, I think this is the best angle. The profile of the monkey, I think, is the best angle. I didn't even draw his belly. I'm gonna maybe make his belly a little bit rounder. Oh man, he's so cute.
oh, I love the rounded belly.
I know. It made it really.
Oh
it really
my
made a difference.
gosh.
I mean, I don't know if it's that good, Stacy, but it's fun.
Oh, well, I do. I just copied your idea. Thank you.
Well, I probably looked better on yours.
I don't know
yeah,
about that.
a little fun thing also is very helpful. You can put a little indication of like the knee and the elbow. I just put a little mark there, and it kind of made it. You could make it look like the stone. That would be an interesting, you know, an interesting property. Like with this bear, you know, it feels like it's marbled. That might be a cool. You know, these sculptures are soapstone, but if there's these agates, you know, like there's an artist named Fabergé. He's like a Russian, worked for the monarch in the 19th century, made Fabergé eggs. Some of the finest art that's ever been created, finest craftsmanship in existence of, and his studio like created a lot of art that went well beyond the eggs themselves. I mean, it was jewelry, and then they also made a bunch of animal carvings out of agates. Agates are like a beautiful transparent stone, and a lot of animals, and they were really on the highest level. Maybe I could follow up with that. I just don't have my Fabergé book here.
Maybe he should have used Alexandrite instead, because then it would be all different colors.
Oh, I'm not familiar with Alexandrite.
Yeah, what is that? Oh, you're talking about for the stone?
Yeah, for the stone.
Yeah. Soapstone is.
Because there would be so much. So it would have so many more different colors. It would have more different colors.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
And if you held it up to certain lights, it would change colors.
So that's called Alexandrite. There's a stone called a Fairborn agate. Fairborn agate, which I have recently got into, and agates are soft enough to carve. I don't know about Alexandrite. Is it on the softer side?
I have no clue. It's a gemstone.
Okay, so yeah, I'll look it up. Soapstone is one of the softest stones to carve, which makes these, you know, really easy, because you can have like, you know, just relatively stable tools can get you, you know, they don't have to be really hardcore tools, and it's very inexpensive because it's very plentiful. Okay.
Alexandrite isn't like rock hard, but it isn't plushy either.
They all have a rating of hardness. Every stone it can be rated in terms of how hard and soft it is. So I will look up Alexandrite. That's a new stone for me, and I'm kind of into stones. All right. What do you think? You guys want to do the bear? You guys want to do the bear? Or you want to do the octopus? Maybe I'll set it up so we can do both.
I do not care what we do.
Okay. So this is as far in as I can. This is as far as I can zoom in at all. So like it doesn't matter. They're so small that the camera doesn't even go you know, this close. So I'll sketch them both and you guys can go at your own pace, I guess. Let me straighten this out a little bit. Okay. Yes. All right, I'm gonna do the hard one first, which in my opinion is the bear. The bear is a bear. Move that over. Yes. Okay, cool. All right. So I don't know if this is a good idea to do this or not, but I'm gonna try it. There's a thing called notional space, which notional space is basically what the block of stone that the artist was given. And when I say given, I mean like the guy, like somebody's job was there, and they were sitting there, and somebody gave them a box of cut rocks that were in these cubes, and they were like, here, you need to carve this. You need to carve this bear from it. So notional space is like the height, width, the top, bottom. There's no the size of the rock is the size of the bear. The bear can't be any bigger. It can only be smaller. So when you set up a notional space, you know, I can't work outside of this rectangular plane. It can be very helpful. It can be, you know, sometimes it can be hard. But I'm gonna work within this notional space to kind of get in the spirit of like what the artist was actually faced with. And that, I think that'll be kind of an interesting idea. Notional space is something else you can also use when you're arranging lots of different objects together. Like if there's a composition of like 10 people, you can have notional space and almost like a drawing on tissue paper or on tracing paper, and you can actually move them around the composition. So notional space, you know, Michelangelo was given a piece of marble for the David, and the notional space was the extreme sides. There could be nothing added. It could only be removed. So this is why we're doing it. And of course, we're using pencil. So if you need to add a little bit more outside, you know, that's okay too. All right, so I'm starting with a rectangle, which has a height and a width, and it is wider than it is tall. So start off with that rectangle first, height, width. Whoa, Xavier, how many legs does an octopus have?
8, but it's not like a 100.
No, it looks good, man. I love it. All right, so my next line that I'm going to do is going to be this separation from the back of the ear, the front of the ear, and the front of the toe. So I'm going to pull this line down, and I'm positioning the front of my toe and the front of my ear. So I'm just going to put the ear in a rectangle right here, and then I'm going to put the foot and the toe right here. So I know that my whole bear's head has got to be to the left of this ear. So we're going to go from the ear, we're going to go from the skull into the brow. And then from that brow, we're going to go down into the nose. And we're going to come down the front of the snout. All right, so now I feel bad for this sculpture again. I'm just going to put in my eye. I'm going to make my eye a little bit better, I would say. I'm not going to use, I just used this idea of the eye. And you just draw like a V shape, a sideways V, and you just add the eye to the side. I feel like that's a lot more natural. And it actually looks a lot like the bear's eye is actually in that, almost that exact position. Cool. All right, now if you follow the snout, it's going to go from the bottom of the mouth, like from the chin, going into the bottom of the skull, and then into the neck. And then from the neck, it goes into the front of the legs. So this next line here, we go from the bottom of the mouth to the end of the snout. Then we're going to go from the snout to the front of the ear. And then from the neck is going to be the next phase. And then it's going to basically, the vertical line is going to drop into the foot. Wow, amazing. The neck is at an angle, and you can actually see some of the long scrapes in here. So there's this angle which cuts off the ears here, and the ear goes from like the back of the head, the neck goes down into the body here. There's a little dip in his, you could almost imagine if you were a, everybody can ride horses. In theory, you should be able to ride a grizzly bear. I've seen these videos where these guys are really, really good friends with grizzly bears, and they're always huge, massive, burly guys. But if you were a smaller person and you still had that much control over a grizzly bear, there's no reason why you couldn't ride them. Anyway, the reason I bring this up is not that I think you should attempt to ride a grizzly bear, but just like in a horse, from the haunches to the hide, there's this dip in the spine before you get to the hips and the pelvis, which is what this arc comes in. So I may have made this a little bit too long, but you got to dip in. This is where, if you could ride, this is where you would ride. Oh, you're welcome. Xavier, I think did your hand go up?
No.
Oh, all right, good. All right, so bears have these actually relatively short legs, but they're big and strong. Let's not do that just yet. Let's just do the arms. So we're going to do from the dip, we're going to come down and do the back of those legs. Technically, there should be a shoulder to elbow, elbow to wrist, but that elbow would be, I guess, right here. There's no real indication of it from our sculptor. And then the next phase is going to be this rib cage, which is below. You do get, delightfully, the nature of the back leg. So I put this up here. This is his rear end. So this is like his butt, basically, and that attaches to the hips. So if you're going to go from hips to knee, this is the knee. And then he goes from knee down to the ankle. And then he goes from the ankle down to the foot. And then you get the rectangle for the foot. So if I can repeat that, these are his hips here. So your legs go from hip to knee. And then I'm just going to put a little dot for that knee, a little spiral. And then it goes from knee to ankle, which is this little corner there. Same in horses, believe it or not. And then ankle to the foot. And then you've got your toes. Now, it looks like he kind of almost made the toes not very big, but it's a bear. So I'm going to like give him claws. I'm going to give this guy claws in the front too. And it should make it look more bear-like. Xavier, your hand is definitely up this time.
It's 4:45.
Okay, cool. That should give us enough time to crank out one more animal.
Did you need to leave at
Oh my
4:45?
gosh, that's right. You have to go.
Yeah. Can I see your work before
Yeah,
you
let's do-
leave?
Did you get the bear?
I didn't get the
yeah.
bear, but I got the octopus.
The octopus is fantastic.
A little bit closer to you. To you, to you, to you. And freeze it. Thank you.
Yeah, Xavier, good job. I have an idea for doing the octopus based on what you did. Like, instead of making it copying the octopus exactly, I might make the tentacles a little bit more interesting, a little more wavy, and maybe not so exactly symmetrical. Because I don't think a octopus would, I think it was helpful to carve it this way, but I think it might be more interesting to draw it a little differently. Anyway, I can send you the video and you can see what we do in case, wherever you're going, man, have a great time.
Okay. Bye.
See you next time.
See you next time, Xavier.
All right. Well, I did this ox last night and I realized that they're trying to, these like ribs that are happening in here, these where they carved out to get that texture, they really are trying to make it appear like fur. And I'm not exactly sure if that's like the right move to like copy those marks or those ridges or just to kind of like just go in and try to make it feel like it's fur. And I made this a polar bear, so the more fur I put down there, the darker this bear is going to be. It's going to be turning more like a grizzly or a brown bear, which I'm okay. I'm honestly okay with. All this anatomy that I tried to point out, bears are so furry anyway that we're lucky if we see any of that stuff. There's a little tail down here. Wow, that's cool. I'm gonna give him a nice dark nose in that top corner. I might give him some dark lips as well. Maybe a little bit of a chin. That's nice. That looks like a bear. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's starting to work. And instead of giving hair on the face, I might just make it a darker tone. And then save the texture for elsewhere. I'm looking at some of the shadow areas. It's really hard to say, but I do like that my feet are at least lined up on the same horizontal. I feel like that's natural to me. I can add some grass in the ground. All right, it's 4:50. This octopus should be crazy. I'm gonna move up. Grandma, there. Did you get to draw the bear? Can I see? You're on mute, but that's okay.
Oh, how cool.
A little closer. Wow, that looks just like a polar bear. You could
Very
start,
realistic.
yeah, you could start a storybook on those. It reminds me a little of Georgia Martha, the little Georgia Martha bear. He's a big boy.
Can you please hold it up again?
Grandma, can you hold that up again? And then you have to like move the middle of the
That's
drawing
great.
to the middle of the camera.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For sure.
She's like super talented. Oh, by the way, guys, this is my mom. I invited her to come on today. She helps me on Saturday classes. And anyway, she's a really, really talented artist. It's kind of where I got it.
Did you get it?
What's that? Yeah, we got
Yeah.
it. Stacey, you got a picture?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And you could send me a
Thank
photo
you.
later. That'd be helpful.
What?
You could send me, if you could text me a photo later, that would be good.
Oh,
too.
sure. I can do that. I did the
Jack,
monkey.
did
Here.
you
You want to
get
see the
there?
monkey?
Yeah, let's see the monkey.
Yes.
Oh, you're proud of that one.
Yeah.
Oh, hold that a little bit
one's
closer to
good.
you
Yeah, that's
and
really
freeze it. Oh, I love its little nose.
good. I like it when my students have better work than I do, which happens a lot. And Jack, you want to show yours or Charlie?
Well, you are talking about Mama Bear, so
Oh, Mama Bear. Any Gilman guys want to show? Represent? Stacy, how about you?
I'm almost done with my.
Okay, take your time.
sure. Oh, sure.
And then show me quick, and then I'm going to start this octopus.
Okay, so here's my little monkey.
So cute.
Oh, I showed that to you.
Ribbon. There's a ribbon.
And I'm just starting on my bear.
Oh yeah, it's a handsome bear. It's a handsome bear.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so I'm gonna lose my I'd lose my drawing, but I'll keep the bear in case you guys are working on the bear. I'm just gonna sketch my octopus a little bit larger. One of the ways that you can, it's really easy, gentlemen. Squid and octopus have been represented in art for thousands and thousands of years. It's like going back to ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, really ancient Greece is where that became kind of popular as like a decorative element on the sides of vessels of all kinds. And they really were all over the Mediterranean. They ate them. Anyway, I was like, I didn't know if it's hard to get an octopus, but people eat calamari. And
Mhm.
if you go to a seafood restaurant, they'll give you like one, you just be like, can I have like one uncooked calamari? And that comes out, it's got all the tentacles. It's like, it doesn't smell bad. It's like, cause they're all fresh and you can practice doing tentacles. And if you go on Mitchell School's Instagram, you know, probably about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, there's not that many posts, but there, I got one and it was like, it was amazing because I got to sketch from like I had been studying Greek vessels for a while and I taught, you know, ancient drawings of octopus for, you know, like 4 or 5 times, but I'd never sketched one from life. And the guy gave it to me. It was like it was like so accessible to have something so beautiful. It's like, how are you going to draw a bear? Well, you have to go to the zoo, you know, which is, you know, a bigger deal. But if you want to sketch a calamari or like a squid, you can just go to, you know, Ocean Pride and they'll give you one.
Yeah.
Anyway, that,
Calamari could taste salty when it isn't.
right?
It's just so good.
It's what?
It's just so good.
I know.
Yeah.
People love
So
calamari.
crispy. Like the chicken tenders of the sea.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, they're the onion rings of the sea. The chicken tenders are even better because they're so protein. All right, so here we go. We've got 5 minutes left. And so really what I was going to do is I want to tie this, tie it back into the ribbon from the beginning of class. Thank you. Thank you. So you have the squid's kind of body, which is more of like a horseshoe shape. And then you want to basically use our model here for a, I don't know why that happened like that. Sorry, I got moved over. You want to use the model or the sculpture for the beginnings of your tentacles. So you can have one that comes up here, one up there. Then you have one that comes out the side, and then another that comes out the side. You have one that comes down in this corner, and you can have one that comes down in this corner. So it is like a symmetrical entity. So you do right side, left side, right side, left side. And then we'll do 2, you know, in the middle here. So instead of having, you know, these short stubby ones, because it was probably a small piece of stone that they were offered, we can now make longer tentacles. So the object that we just drew is kind of easy. So watch this. So you get the, you know, the top one links up into the middle one. The middle one links up to the bottom left. The bottom left is going to link up to the one in the middle. The one in the middle are already linked. And then I'm just kind of going to go all around and link up the start of these tentacles. And you can link it back up to the main body. And then from there, every tentacle kind of has a life of its own. And I'll show you what I mean. So you could do one that's like spirally. That could be one. Then you could do one that has a curly Q. Create a little bit more space. And then maybe it comes down here. We could do maybe this one comes all the way around the bottom. This one I can do another spiral here, but link spirals the other way. And then it goes under itself. This one can spiral this way.
All right, I finished with mine. There it is.
Wow, Jack, what a nice bear.
He's in the middle of walking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his paw being bent like that makes all the difference.
Yeah.
His 4 legs. That's what's cool. I didn't even show this part. Yeah, if I tilted the bear a little bit, you can see 4 of those legs.
Yeah, and I like how that hind leg is really up on its toe. You can see
Thank you.
see that really
Yeah.
well.
Really
Because
good.
it looked weird if I were to do the same thing that this one. Because animals, you can't move by having the same legs go. You have to have opposite legs. You can't move with these two moving and these two staying still.
Yeah,
So you must have this leg walking and
that would make
this
a
the back leg, the opposite side walking.
that would make a
Kind of
sweet
balanced.
make a sweet animation. Yeah, if you had
Yeah.
tracing paper over it and made some multiple, like make multiple steps.
What I saw this one like person who made a CGI like animation of a bear.
Mhm.
Their like entire body like rustles like or like jiggles a bit because it has like lots of its fur. It's thick, but it also has lots of fat and muscle.
Mm.
Yes.
And so when one part and when it's and since it's like such a powerful step, the whole body like jiggles just only a bit after a step.
Yeah,
And so
and
it's
that's
mainly the fur
they-
that it's
were they-
mainly the fur that like you can see moving.
were they able to achieve that in the drawing,
In what drawing?
or were they able to achieve that in the animation?
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah. Should we add like tentacles? I mean, suction cups. Don't octopus have suction cups?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's nothing. Oh my gosh, there is. I was gonna say there's nothing at the bottom to indicate suction cups, but they do have it. So we could actually draw some of these instead of just like the ribbon. Oh my God, I love it. All right, so just like the ribbon, you could show like the difference between the top and the bottom of our tentacles here. You could make one that had suction cups, or you could just use a straight line, top and bottom. Top is open, bottom is the suction cup part. Let me change this one. All right, so we might have been packing in a little too much, at the end of class here, but what else is new? We got to work hard all the way to the end. It's like fourth quarter. You know what I mean? You don't give up. You don't give up halfway through the third quarter. You got to fight to the end. But then the time's up eventually. Oh, look at that! I'm gonna make this whole bottom part. Yes. So I kind of I'll send this over to Xavier. I feel like he'll appreciate it too. And then if you guys get the video, you can watch it. You can watch it a million times. I put these eyes in here. It's so funny because I think octopus actually do have, at least a lot of the times that they're represented in the Greek vases, they really do have lines that are that dark, or eyes that are that big and that, scary. If I ever get this produced, I will I'll show a reproduction of the Greek vase. Now it looks like a mama octopus and a baby octopus. One's 2D, one's 3D. Yes. Well, that went better than expected. My drawing, that is. All right, party people. Did anybody attempt the octopus, or was I just like working in a vacuum? What's up,
Yeah.
you?
I did the octopus.
All right, let's see it.
Let's take a look.
I'm still,
Oh,
Those-
wow.
and if I can
I'm-
find it, I'll show
Mrs.
it, but.
Mrs. Twist, can you hold that a little closer to yourself? To you? Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
Oh yeah,
I love
that's
the
fun.
tentacles.
They all have a life of their own for sure. All right, you're up. Let's see it. Oh, I'm gonna remove the pin, Grandma. Sorry. Did you find it in your sketchbook?
What?
I know where. Let's see. Isn't completely done, but I think I've found. Oh. It isn't completely fit. Neither of them are complete yet, but I sort
That's
of went
okay.
back and forth
Oh, wow.
between them.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
those are great. The bear's
Oh,
fantastic.
there's.
They're both great. They're both great.
Thanks.
Can you
So
hold them
we
up
went back and
again?
forth.
Can you hold them up again just for another second?
Found them.
And freeze. Thank you.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
Sort of went back and forth between the two. I never completely finished one, so.
Yeah, but sometimes just the initial sketch is you obviously got the point. All right, I gotta go. I got a meeting. I'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. See
Bye,
you
y'all.
next week. Thank
Mrs.
you,
Twist,
Trevor.
I'm just creating an image. I know a picture of a bear, of a grizzly bear lying on the log,
Oh yeah,
sleeping on the log.
Oh,
I see him now.
Oh, that's so
Bye.
cute.
sweet.
Yeah, he's
I
very.
love it.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye, everybody.